Which ones? Ooh. Hey, Chu, how are you? Thank you for being here. Ooh. Hey, Miss Sharon, how are you? I hope you're doing good. Hey, Miss Paula. Hey, Bliss and Beyond, how y'all doing? Happy early New Year's to everybody. I'm gonna let y'all come on in here real quick so we can talk about a few things. Let this TikTok, these numbers go up. Hey, Carla, how are you? I was just thinking about you too. I swear, like 5 minutes ago, I was just thinking about you. Like, I wonder what's going on with the you know what. But we can talk about that offline. All right. So if you're here from TikTok, um, please hit the like and subscribe or the like and follow button. Same here for my YouTube and Facebook family. Hey, Nicole, how are you? I decided to do some streaming to Facebook again just because there are going to be a lot of moving pieces next year. And I want to make sure that y'all get a chance to, well, everybody gets the opportunity to find out what's really going on. Thank you. Tough Love says, please share and hit the like button. Look at you. So sweet. I know who's going to be my moderator. All right. Well, I'm going to just go ahead and go. And I'm going to say happy early New Year's to everybody. I hope you guys are doing great. Thank y'all for being here on Monday, as always. Okay. Basically, let's just go down the line. So last week when we talked Monday, we were talking about the BOI, and that is the beneficial ownership interest form. And I was telling you guys to fill it out, and a lot of you guys said that it came back and it said we don't have to fill it out. So it was off, then it was on, and for those that do not know, it is off again as of the 27th. Hey, Shayna. So basically, I am sticking with what I've always said. I am not going to do anything until the last, very, very last minute. Right now, it's off. But the new date had been moved to January 13th. I did make a video. But since then, it went off. And I'm not going to keep making videos confusing people because it's just going to keep coming and keep coming, okay? So the court system is basically saying that it is overreaching. They're being too much into our personal business, so they're not really trying to allow this to go forward. All right. So if you are wondering about your BOI, if you're a business owner, it is off for right now. Okay. And again, I want y'all to drop any questions y'all may have, because I'm sure y'all probably gonna have some. Okay. Because I'm about to talk about this video that I just posted in a second. All right. So right now, BOI is off. You do not have to do it. Okay. Now, if somebody happened to sing something today and I didn't see it, please, by all means, let your girl know, because I will easily correct myself. Okay. But as of the 27th of December, it's back off again. Okay. All right. So let me move on really quick. So I'm going to talk about credit a little bit because hell, it's that time of the year. Everybody wants to start getting their credit together at the end of the year, getting ready for the beginning of the year, which is, I applaud you all for doing that. That's great. So let's get into it. So a lot of y'all have been sending me the same video, okay? And I swear I don't understand how bad news goes viral all the time, okay? But there's a video of a girl telling you guys how you can delete everything from your credit within a mere matter of minutes. All you have to do is call the bureau and give them this code, okay? It's cap, okay? It's not real. It's not true, okay? So if any of you guys seen that video, It is not true. All right. So I did make a video in response to it, but I want to let you guys know what it is right now for those that did not get a chance to see it. Okay. So, and first of all, do y'all even know what video I'm talking about? Let me see if anybody even knows the video I'm talking about. And if you do, just put down yes, whatever, thumbs up. I don't care. Just let me know if y'all know what video, so I don't go too deep in the rabbit hole. But it is a video with a girl basically saying that she's going to delete the video in an hour. She's only going to leave it up for a little bit because she's sharing with us a secret. Okay. Well, Miss Sharon, I'm going to send it to you. Just so you can see, but it's absolutely bad information. And it's not true. Okay. So she was referring to, and I always tell you guys, there is a booklet called the Fair Credit Reporting Act. Okay. FCRA. Okay. Thank you, Carla. All right. So she is referring to a true book. Okay. If anybody is ever interested in fixing credit, even if it's just your own, you should know about the Fair Credit Reporting Act. It's like the Bible when it comes to what you need to do, or what the rules that credit bureaus have to abide by, as well as creditors that you owe. They have to abide by when it pertains to reporting information about you to the credit bureaus. Okay. What she used was 15 United States Code 1681. Okay, I believe that's the code that she was telling you guys to call the credit bureaus and basically say, hey, 15 USC 1681, remove all this stuff from my credit. Well, if you were to call the credit bureaus and say that, they're going to laugh you off the phone because, one, they don't even know what that is. Okay. A lot of individuals that work at the credit bureau, if you're even able to get anybody on the phone, okay, they're more than likely not going to be from the United States. They're going to be from India. And a lot of them have no idea what the Fair Credit Reporting Act. So if you turn around and then quote them some numbers, they're not even going to know what that is either. So the numbers that she quoted, y'all, thank you, Aaron Pittman. Aaron Pittman says, sure don't. They be lost. Okay. So the number she was referring to, the 15 USC 1681, all that is a number that tells you guys what section of the United States Code that refers to that book. Okay. So the booklet is a Fair Credit Reporting Act, FCRA. Okay. That is what the government made for us to be able to make sure that these creditors and the credit bureaus are doing what they're supposed to as it pertains to your credit and your credit reports. So please don't listen to her and say that, because they're not going to know what the hell that is. Okay. All right. I'm going to say that in just a minute, Shayna. Okay. But this is what she should have told y'all. And I think she was referring to the right book, but she was referring to the wrong section. Okay. If you want to clean things up off your credit, there is only one section in the FCRA, that booklet, that tells you how to do it. And that section is 605B as in Bravo, 605B. So if you were to go and get that book, if y'all want the link, y'all can just send me a message on the website. I have gone through all the messages, so I should have responded to all of y'all by now, okay? But I will send you that booklet, and then you can just scroll to 605B, the section. And FYI, the government will send you these books for free because they want you to have it. So it is very easy to contact the Consumer Finance Bureau, CFPB. Yes, I think that's what it's, CFPB, and they will send you the book for free. Or you can download it, or Shamika could just send you the link and you can look it up. It's however y'all want to do it. But that section 605B refers to identity theft. If you have been a victim of identity theft, you can turn in your identity theft report to the bureaus with a letter stating what is not yours because of identity theft. And by law, they have 4 days to remove it. Okay. Now, that sounds all good and well. And y'all know I'm going to tell y'all the 100% truth. They will not remove that in 4 days. Okay. Even though in the video, the girl said it could be removed in some hours and some minutes. That is not true. Okay. I don't know how many of you have ever heard of a credit sweep. Okay. And I want to see if y'all know what a credit sweep is. Okay. So a credit sweep is something that y'all see people advertising on Instagram and on TikTok. Y'all go ahead on and share this live because I already know somebody that you know needs to listen to exactly what I'm talking about. Okay. Okay, you like the booklet, Black and Needs, send me a message in my on Messenger and I'll send you the link so you can get the book. Okay, so a credit suite, for those that do not know, a lot of people, they charge thousands and thousands of dollars on Instagram to basically make you a fake identity theft report, which is more than likely a fake police report, and then they dispute your credit with that fake police report, a copy of your ID, a copy of your social, and a letter stating what they are disputing. And credit bureaus will at some point remove it, but they do not remove it within the 4 days. Okay. Yes, it is a felony. It is very illegal. I'm just letting you know that it is what people are doing, and I wanted to let you guys understand how she's conflating two things to confuse you. Okay, one, she is referring to the correct booklet. She's not referring to the right section. Okay, so you guys are gonna call and be looking crazy when y'all follow her instructions, which is not true. Now, if you were to call, and I'm gonna read y'all comments in the section. If you were to call the bureaus right now and say, "Hey, I got 3 or 4 inquiries on my credit report that are not mine. I didn't do them," they will remove that without any proof. You have to talk to somebody to remove the inquiries. Okay, you can go to my website, shamikasaves.com. I got a little booklet on there. It's $2, $3. Okay, tells you exactly what to say, gives you the number to call, everything. Okay. If you don't want to, that's fine. You can call yourself. They will remove inquiries on the spot. They will not remove anything else from your credit when you say it's because it's not yours, you're a victim of identity theft, because they have to have proof that you were an actual victim. And the only way they have proof is you have to send them something. Okay. Now, some people have been using real police reports because some people have really been real victims of identity theft. Some people make identity theft reports. Okay. Um, I don't know if y'all heard of a girl named Rose that's in Houston, and she got busted by the feds for $3 million in fraudulent removals from individuals' credit reports. And basically, and I did a video on this, it's on my YouTube. Basically, what she was doing was she was taking one police report and she edited it in PDF, and she changed the individuals' names, like your names, and she changed the items that were being disputed, and she would turn that in over and over and over again. And Ally Bank, ALLY, Ally Bank, caught on, and they were like, wait a minute now, it's too many people disputing with the same police report that looks, it looks real. It's the same. It got the same captain's number on there, the same badge number, the same officer, everything. So they actually got in contact with the Houston Police Department and asked to speak to the individual whose name kept coming up on these police reports. And the person said, it is not me. Because this has to do with the government, your credit, and banks, it becomes a federal offense, not a state level offense, which is why the feds came to her door. Okay. So, yes, people do the credit suite. Is it illegal? Absolutely. Does it work? Absolutely. Okay. They can't get mad at me for loopholes that they didn't close. Okay. I'm just letting y'all know what works, and it does work. Now, what will also work if you don't have a police report, and I'm not telling anybody to do this, I'm just giving you information. If you do not have an actual identity theft report from the police department, you can go to ftc.org, ftc.gov, Federal Trade Commission. The Federal Trade Commission is a quasi law enforcement agency with the government, so you can actually create your own identity theft report yourself without having to pay anybody. You can create your own. And the reason, and look, they don't caught on to people using that too, because what they do now is when you go to create your own, they send you a text to your phone number. And if you have a phone number in there that you've been using before, it's not going to let you do it. So you're going to have to put your cell phone number in there, and it's going to verify that it's you before it lets you continue making that report. And once you make that report, you submit it to FTC, but you can also print you a copy. You take that printed copy, again, with your driver's license, with your social security card, and a letter stating what is not yours, and you would send that into the bureaus. Now, um, the bureaus do not remove it in 4 days. They don't. The only way you can rush them to do that in 4 days is you're going to have to fix your credit the good old fashioned way, meaning you're going to have to do return receipt on your mail so that you can know the exact time that it was delivered, so that somebody has to sign for it. So that way, in those 4 days, if they don't do it, you have proof that you mailed. Now you're able to go and get you an attorney and actually sue because they are not doing what they're supposed to. But you need to make sure you're really a victim. So you can't be over here trying to fight something and it's fraud. Okay. Now, if you choose to want to do it the fraudulent way, I don't have no judgment. I'm just letting you know it does work, but it will take at least 3 to 4 months for them to remove it. They are very slow about removing information from your report because why? Because if they remove stuff, one, you are undoing their job that they get paid to do, which is to report on your credit. And if you're removing stuff that is actually yours, say a charged off credit card or something like that, the banks don't like that. Okay. Sometimes the banks may say, hey, this is really yours. We're not taking it off. We're not going to remove it. And sometimes it slips by and it comes off. Okay. So I ain't telling anybody what to do, but I'm just letting you know that it does work. Her instructions were completely wrong. The credit sweep works, but do it if you choose, but you need to do it cautiously, okay? Because they definitely be paying attention. Hey, Miss Cynthia. Miss Cynthia said Happy New Year's to everybody, and she said she liked and shared. Thank you very much. Okay, so let me see what y'all saying real quick, because I seen somebody say something on TikTok. So it says, hold. Is there a hard copy of the booklet? Yes, you do not have to purchase the booklet. It is completely free. They let you have it. You can just type FCRA. And if you go into Google, make sure you type FCRA 2024. And the reason you want to do that is because sometimes there are new and updated edits to the booklet. You want to make sure you have the most up-to-date copy, not an old one, because ain't nothing worse than fighting with old, outdated information and you standing on it like it's real and come to find out it's not. Okay. Tracy says, so I received a letter saying I need to file my taxes for the last 3 years because I owe. Bam. Now, I told y'all the IRS system is systeming. They done got that money. And now, if you don't do your taxes, they are going to do them for you. And what they're going to do is they're going to do them and they're going to tell you that you owe money like they did Tracy. But instead of them filing your taxes for you, they're going to give you the opportunity to file your own. And the reason why, Tracy, they're doing that is because you may have a business that they don't know about. So you may have write-offs which will stop you from owing or reduce the amount that you owe. So the IRS will not complete your taxes for you. The only thing that they will do is do your taxes on their end based off of what they have received from your employers. And based off of what they received from your employers and what you paid out of your federal taxes, you owe. So yes, guys, I'm letting y'all know now that is something they are going to start doing from here on out. And especially in this new administration, because they need the money. And if y'all not filing, I have a lot of y'all that come to me and I'm like, have y'all filed? I've been doing 3 years of taxes for the last 2 months, okay? Because a lot of y'all have been just dropping the ball, or somebody told you that you can wait and you can file all of them together in 1 year. None of that is true, okay? If you owe 3 years, if you have 3 years of taxes to do, you have to file in each year that you did not file. You cannot combine 21, 22, and 23 together and think you're going to have a tax refund. It doesn't work that way. And the IRS may well, in fact, give you a refund. But once they realize that you done mixed all this up, they're going to send you a letter just like they did Tracy, and they're going to tell you you need to amend your taxes because you did not file in the correct years. Okay. So Tracy, if you need to file your taxes, please, by all means, you can send me a message. Go right on TikTok. It has email, phone, whatever. Send me a message. We could get those done for you because y'all will need to start having those done. Whether you owe or not, you still need to do it. And for those who are filing bankruptcy, because a lot of people are, as so many of y'all who are filing bankruptcy and y'all haven't even filed y'all taxes, they are not going to let you go into this bankruptcy and dismiss if you have not filed your taxes. It is a requirement. So if you haven't filed, you need to file, because if not, you might be receiving letters just like Tracy did. Thank you for sharing that, Tracy. Shana says, only one credit bureau updated my records, waiting for the other two. So let me just let you know something, Shana, and anybody else. A lot of y'all get stuck on what one bureau says, the other two have to say it, and that is not true. If Experian has a Walmart credit card on there and Equifax and TransUnion doesn't, then that means that two things: either Walmart doesn't report to those bureaus, or somehow they missed reporting that information to those bureaus. Okay, so you would have to decide if that's what you want. For example, I know people who have mortgages or who have car payments or car notes, and they're only reporting on one bureau. And sometimes they ask me, well, is that a bad thing? And I say, not necessarily. Now, yes, you could be missing out on good reporting, especially if you pay your stuff on time, but you also um, can help your credit by showing you have more credit available and that you're not using all the credit you have. So you have to make the determination if something's not showing on your credit report, if you really want it to. Okay. Some people are happy their mortgage isn't showing. Why? Because hell, that's less debt pulling on their credit utilization. So some of y'all may not mind it. So if you don't mind it, that's fine. For example, if your student loans aren't reporting on all of your credit bureaus, are y'all mad? No, y'all are happy. Okay. So you have to decide that. Now, another thing, if somebody does the credit sweep or you have somebody clean up your credit, because a lot of y'all come to me after y'all went to somebody else when y'all should have just came to me in the first place, because one, I don't charge you. Only thing I do is coach you. That's the only thing that you will ever get fined for, is because I coach you. But you are going to do your own credit repair because, well, and I'd be glad to argue with anybody. Credit repair is illegal in all 52 states, okay? It is not legal anywhere. The only people who have the right to do it are law firms. You may have a few companies out there that do it, but they legally, they get away with it. For example, you can see places in Miami that says credit repair. You can see them in the little Spanish neighborhoods and little black neighborhoods, but you will rarely find those places in the uppity, well-to-do places, not just because they don't need it, but because it's more visibility to people that are going to tell on you, okay? People who don't know won't tell, all right? So you guys don't need to be rushing out to pay y'all money to people to fix your credit, when all you really need to do is have them sit down and explain what needs to be done, and you do it, because you are the one who put yourself there. You can also get yourself out of it because it's not that difficult. Okay, so anybody who's watching on TikTok, y'all make sure y'all hit that like and share button. The same over here with YouTube, okay? Because everybody needs to know about credit, because I know everybody credit is not popping. Okay, it's just not. And if y'all got any questions about credit, y'all make sure y'all ask those, okay? So we can you get to it. So when people are doing these credit sweeps and they're fixing your credit and they're removing stuff from your credit, that does not mean that you don't owe the debt. I don't know how many people have come to me and said, well, I don't owe it no more because they removed it from my credit. That does not mean you don't owe it. It just means that it's not reflecting on your credit report as a debt, but you still owe. So yes, you can still be sued. If they decide that they've waited too long to get payment, they can sue you. Yes, you still owe it. So if they want to continue to pursue, they can. And even though something's being removed from your credit, it can always come back, especially if it's yours. If you keep disputing, for example, even when you people do the credit sweep, I'm not saying I've done it before, but I'm familiar. Okay. Even when you do the credit sweep, and I told you it can take 3 to 4 months for things to come off, sometimes you need to take a cooling off period. You know, you sent your dispute letters in 3-4 times. Okay, you're not getting the response you want from the credit bureaus. You know what happens? You need to take a break for a month. Why? Because you could turn around and be disputing so much so that now you're going to cause them to do a real investigation and find out that you really owe these things. And when they see that you're trying to remove something fraudulently by the credit sweep, they have every right to pick up the phone and call the feds and say, hey, this person is lying about this. Here goes the thing that they signed. We got a camera showing that they came in and bought this car. People especially do those with repos. Very difficult to remove those large ticket dollar items because, one, most of y'all know that it's yours, okay? You want it removed, I get it. But sometimes if you see that it's not budging, it's time to leave it alone. We need to read the room and know how to move on to something else, okay, before they come and get you. Let me see. Okay, Tracy says, I also work for 6 months of the year. Can my daughter claim me? If you work for 6 months of the year, I mean, if you were a dependent of your daughter, if you're disabled, that's one thing. But if you are not disabled and you are a full-fledged adult that is not in school, Tracy, no, you cannot be claimed. Let me just be clear on that because I know it's almost tax time, okay? And a few things. If you got your last pay stub, okay, I know people hurting for money, but if you got your last pay stub, yes, you can use your last pay stub and go to your tax preparer and you can go and get you a pre-act loan. So if you are one of those individuals that you get those cash advances and you can't wait, you know, something is due, you are able to take your last pay stub, which is going to come out in January, and you can start getting the cash advances from your taxes. Okay. And yes, I do that if somebody is interested. Okay. I have a lot of y'all I've never even met, and y'all been my tax client for years. Thank you very much for the support. But, and yes, you can get an advance. So I'm just letting you guys know that data will be coming out next week. What else was I saying? Okay. And as far as dependent, you can you can claim a dependent if they are in school, if they are disabled, if they are a child. That is it. So if you are an adult disabled person, meaning you're on Social Security disability, you can be claimed by someone if y'all live together. Absolutely. Yes, you can. So in your case, Tracy, if you worked and you're not working on because you're on the Social Security work program, then your daughter will not be able to claim you because you are over you're going to be over the age of, you know, someone that is in college. Okay, so she won't be able to claim you. All right. Let's see. Miss Cynthia said, remember when I could not get into my ID Meet, I had to email them. They replied with an appointment for me to attend a live chat session. Says a representative verified who I was on my Texas driver's license. They did some stuff on there and it sent me an email to reset my password. I reset my password with the email link and I'm back in. Okay, so what Miss Cynthia is talking about is irs.gov. A lot of y'all, I keep telling y'all, y'all need to make sure y'all have access to these government websites when they give you access because it's handy. You need it. And if you're an individual like Tracy who did not file taxes, now Tracy doesn't have to go and track down her employer to get her W-2s. She can go right into the irs.gov website, log into her account, and she will be able to pull that information up on their own. Okay. So you don't have to wait. So if you have not gotten your access to the irs.gov, please do. And yes, some people do have problems, Cynthia, with the ID Me, but it does get worked out, okay? Because they want you to have access because they don't want you to be bothering them. And I definitely would like y'all to do this before tax season begins so that if you owe money on your taxes from previous years, you will be able to see it before you even file your taxes. A lot of y'all file the taxes thinking y'all finna get this money and gonna find out that the check is gonna be snatched. Okay. Yes, there is an offset hotline number, but it does not open until next year for you to call. But if you have access to your account, you can see if you owe IRS. Now, if you owe child support, you're not gonna see that there. But if you owe, please know they're gonna take it. All right. And student loans, you won't be able to see if you owe student loans on there too. You will have to call the hotline for that. All right. Okay. So yes, you request. Okay, it's a felony. All right. Let me see what else y'all saying real quick. Let me keep going. Okay. So, oh, I see it now. I see it all coming in. All right. So it says, have I heard about the Lexington Law Firm settlement? Yes. Lexington Law Firm, if y'all did not know, they are the first and only firm that actually does credit repair and they do regular cases. So if you want to get a divorce, child support, any of that, they do family law and they do credit. Now, Lexington Law Firm did get sued because they were having y'all paying an outrageous amount of money every month and they weren't doing anything but disputing with the same old letters and nothing was getting removed from y'all credit. Now, this law firm settlement is old. Okay, I still don't know anybody who got paid from a Miss Lisa. So if you have, let me know. But it is very old. And unfortunately, when the government sues places like this, the government gets the bulk of the money and you guys get what's left. Matter of fact, who got any money from the Equifax lawsuit or the from the breach? I knew somebody that texted me and said, hey, I got $8. Now, $8 and our information has been leaked to the dark web, I do not think is commensurate, but that is what they choose to give based off of how many people have applied. So I don't know how many of y'all got y'all check, but somebody got their check 2 weeks ago, and it was $8 for the Equifax data breach, which is a dang on shame. So please don't be expecting to get a lot of money from these class actions. You just need to go and get your little piece, even if it is just $8. Okay. But yes, I do know about Lexington Law Firm. I have never recommended anybody there to go there because they don't do anything. The only way you can clean your credit is, one, you need to know how to read these reports so you know what you're looking at. Then, and this is what I do on my little consultation, so y'all know, we go over this credit report. I show you what you need to work on. I tell you if I think you have to stand a possibility of getting sued, because some of y'all do with these high amounts, especially these apartments, especially if you have portfolio recovery or portfolio management is what they call themselves now. If you have LVNV funding, those places love to sue. If you have Navy Federal and you have a high dollar amount, they love to sue. Okay. And then if y'all watched me last week, I told y'all these companies, they're merging, right? What we said, Discover and Capital One. Discover hates when you don't pay them. They love to sue. So them merging with Capital One, and Capital One, they sue, but not that often. Usually when they sell your debt to somebody else, that person they sell it to sues. But I can almost assure you, with these companies now merging, there are going to be more lawsuits because nobody's even paying the debt that they already have, and they need to recoup. Okay. So if you owe them, just know. And also, if you file bankruptcy and you throw Discover or Capital One, especially now since they merged, you will have the hardest chance getting back with them. Discover puts you on a bad list for about 7 years, okay? And it's going to take you about 7 years before they will allow you another car, okay? It could be shorter than that if it wasn't a large amount, but if it's a large amount, baby, you're going to wait. And now that they're merging with Capital One, you're probably now going to wait, because Capital One used to be one of the easier ones to get again because they let you do a secured card. Now, if you want to do secured and put your own money down, they don't mind. But as far as them extending you money and you've already not paid them, please be prepared to get a denial. That's just how it works. Okay. And to me, it's only fair. All right. User something says, I owe $7,000. I need help bad. If you owe $7,000, that is not enough to do bankruptcy. You need a minimum of $10,000. I said this, and I'll continue to say this. You can always add your student loans as a part of your debt if that will help you get up to the 10. Even though your student loans will probably not get dismissed in most cases. But whatever you need to do to keep those, to get those numbers together and raise them up, that's what we need to do. And a lot of y'all been hitting me up because y'all have lost y'all jobs, and that's very unfortunate. I'm sorry about that. But the first thing I do when somebody tells me they lost their job and their credit is, bad, and they're trying to move, and it's like, you don't need to move. If you don't have any money, you need to stay where you at, and you need to figure out your financial situation. I have someone who lost their job. I knew something was funny with the company when the company didn't even pay the people their full check. And yes, there are places where people have went to work and found out that today is your last day. And sorry, we didn't give you no 2 weeks notice. Okay. Because some companies are going bankrupt. If you find that happens to you and you are suffering in your dire straits, your financial situation doesn't seem like it's going to be able to be a rebound. You can't help yourself because you're not working. You might not be able to find a job right away. There's nothing wrong with looking at bankruptcy. And I'm going to tell everybody that because everybody else is doing it. Okay. And this is not monkey see, monkey do, but these same companies are going out of business and they're protecting themselves by filing bankruptcy so that they don't lose what they have. And I want you guys to keep that in mind and do the same thing. Okay. Boyd said, our tax checks, are they going to be bigger this year? No, your tax checks should be about the same. So if you owed last year and you didn't change anything on your deductions for taxes, you're going to owe again this year. So I can tell you right now, because it's a lot of y'all, I talk to you and it's like, y'all have not made these adjustments on your checks because you don't want your paycheck to be smaller, which I understand. But you cannot expect your tax preparer to keep putting Schedule C's on your taxes and getting you out of owing the IRS, because the IRS knows. If the IRS can see, because you can delete anything from tax paperwork. Okay, and a Schedule C is for anybody that does self-employment. If they just delete the self-employment page and pages and take it out of your taxes, and they see that you owe, but when you had the self-employment added, you did not owe, they already know the game. So what are they going to do? They are going to, more than likely, pay you your refund, turn around later and say, we don't agree with this Schedule C. We have removed it and realized that you owe us what you should have paid. You owe us that tax refund back. And now we're going to put penalties and interest on top of it. So you went from owing them maybe a couple $1,000s to who knows what your new amount is going to be because of they did their math. That's for people who file early. For those of y'all who file late, if same situation, if they remove that Schedule C and you are one of those later filers, what are they going to do? They're not going to pay you the refund. They're going to hold your check and they're going to tell you that they're still processing it. Some of y'all know because some of y'all still ain't even got y'all refunds, okay? They're going to tell you still processing, and then they're going to remove the Schedule C, and then they're going to turn around and say you owe us this much. And because you didn't file by such and such date and pay us because you knew you owed, they're going to charge you penalties and interest on top of it. They have no problem fining you a whole lot of fines because they know that you don't know how to ask them to remove those fines. Okay, so they will tack on anything they can to get your balance higher. So today is your basically tomorrow 31st. You really only have today and tomorrow to make any kind of changes to your tax forms, but at this point it's not going to matter. So if you are not paying enough, you're still gonna owe. And no, the checks are not going to be bigger. No, you're not getting any child tax credit checks early. Nothing, and I wouldn't even and don't even think about getting any stimuluses in 2025 either. Okay, so just let all that subside and just be focused on the fact that some of y'all are gonna owe. And if you are a tax preparer, anybody who works with me doing these taxes, please, by all means, do not let your customers force you or make you feel like you need to lie to help them get a refund because you're trying to help yourself get a refund. Because what's going to happen is the IRS is going to say something to them, but they're going to come after you, the tax preparer, because you should have a P10, which is that 5-digit number that lets the IRS know exactly who you are that prepared these taxes. And what they like to do is they like to come after you because they know you, if you did it for one person, you did it for all of them. And they're going to fine you. They're going to take your rights to do taxes away. And you know what else they do? They are putting you in jail. Isn't that crazy? You just trying to help somebody get a refund. Okay, because I minimize it as something as small as that. You're just trying to help somebody get a refund. They don't want that. And they will zhuzh it up and put all kind of fancy 8, 9, 10 letter words to it and make it a crime. And next thing you know, you in jail for 3 years, because that's usually about what they give you. And you can't do taxes no more. You can't even talk about taxes if they find out you're in violation. And it's not worth it. Okay, it's not worth it for the little bit of money that y'all are getting from doing these people taxes. And please don't think that they are not paying attention, because they are. It's just they didn't have enough people, okay? Hey, Letitia. Letitia says, Happy New Year. Cynthia says, I went in to look at my transcripts so I can be on top of things. Good. Y'all definitely need to look at your transcripts. Anybody that's going to get a W-2, y'all need to just look at your transcripts at the IRS website and make sure they match with what they sent you. Because half of y'all don't even keep track. Y'all don't know how much some people done paid y'all. Y'all don't even know how much y'all done paid in taxes unless y'all look at the year to date on your checks. But you need to make sure that's correct. And y'all know I'm always going to give you an example. This one guy, he's a 1099. He got a 1099 saying he made $43,000. But what they sent to the IRS was a mistake, but it was $43 million. Okay? Now, they tried to correct it, but they didn't do a great job because the form is still showing. But you need to just make sure that it's right. Okay? It don't hurt nothing for y'all to check and cover yourselves. That's what you should do. Aaron says, what about using the Consumer Finance Bureau website? Okay, so we talk about credit again. So that was, somebody did show a video of how you can go and make a complaint to the Consumer Finance Bureau about getting these items removed from your credit. There is no guarantee that because you complain to the government that it's going to be removed. When you make a complaint to the government about your credit, all you basically are doing is snitching on a company by saying they're not doing what they should be doing, and the government will investigate that. But if that company can show that I ain't lying, here goes Aaron's paperwork right here. He signed it. He had this car for 5 years. He charged it. It shows gas purchases right near where he lives. They're gonna say, we can't do nothing for you. So it's not a guarantee that because you dispute with the government that it's gonna remove. And I know people make these videos go viral, and they do, but they are lying to you. Okay, that is not how it works. The only way you can remove these things from your credit is you're gonna have to put some muscle on your own. Now, if they're wrong, the Consumer Finance Bureau, if they're on top of it, they should help you get it removed, but it is not guaranteed that it will. Okay, but good question. All right, Miss Cynthia said, okay, Black and Ease says, I was subject to have created a PIN for the IRS. How do I attain it, or another PIN? I don't recall my PIN. Well, okay, so the IRS has an IP PIN. That is your identification PIN. If you have elected to get an identification PIN, let me tell you what they are doing, okay? And y'all ain't gonna like it. If you got the IP PIN, you are not going to get that notice until February, okay? The very end of January. I'm saying around February because they have until the 31st. You don't get it. You don't get it in early January. Most of y'all who have the IP PIN, y'all are not going to get that PIN until February. So please do not think you are going to rush out. Black and Ease, unfortunately, do not rush out and try to file your taxes because they will be rejected. And if you try to file your taxes and they're rejected, you can't even do you won't be able to do the pre-act loan. You won't be able to do the cash advance. So you need to wait until you have the letter. You cannot call the IRS and request one because they're going to say they haven't been mailed yet. But if it's after February 15th, around the time when the PATH Act is approved, to go forward, and I'll explain what that is when you can call. So after February 15th, if you have not received your letter for the IP PIN, that is when you call. You cannot pull it up online. The IRS does not allow that. Some of y'all have IP PIN on your children. If you have an IP PIN on the kids, some of y'all do it because people like to steal children's social security numbers, okay? You also will not be able to file with that child until after February 15th because you got to wait to get that letter. It is late, okay? They are not delivering those out early, all right? But what you need to do is, and I'm gonna tell you this, I don't know if you lived in the same address that you lived in last year when you did your taxes, but if you do not live in the same address, you need to go back to the tax preparer that did your taxes and have them amend your taxes. And all they need to do is update your new address and refile the same taxes from last year. Why? So that you can have, so that the IRS can have your updated address. There is no other way to call them to give them your address other than through your tax refund, not tax refunds, through the tax software. So if you moved from wherever you lived last year, the person that did your taxes last year, all they have to do is go in and amend. And when they amend it, they're just changing your address. And then they need to resubmit it to the IRS so that they have your new address for this year, okay? Because if not, and they're sending that IP PIN letter and you don't get it, guess what? The IRS takes forever to resend you another one, which means some of y'all won't be filing until close to the end of the tax season. They are not playing about these IP PINs, and they're going to make sure that y'all go through a tax person to do your correspondence with them because they don't really want to talk to y'all. And the way I know, they already stated that they have chatbots now that will talk to you through the phone to prevent them from having to answer the phone. Okay, so you're going to have a whole lot of prompts in the computer. You're going to hit this button and hit this before you even get anybody. So they're rolling that out this year because they just don't have the manpower to be able to talk to all of y'all that call. All right, so please tell somebody about this IP PIN because I know some of y'all are going to be asking for it and you're going to find out that it's not available until February. Okay. Let's see. All right, hold on. Okay, it says, how do I file my son as a dependent now that he works? in high school? Okay, Shay inspires a good question. If you have a child that works, you can file them as a dependent as well as they can file their own taxes. What has to happen is, and I say this every single year and it's not going to change, you need to make sure that they file their taxes first. Once they file their taxes, who's ever doing their taxes, okay, there's a box that says this person will be claimed as a dependent on someone else's taxes. That box needs to be checked because that's telling the IRS that, hey, we need to prepare to see this social security number twice because somebody else is going to claim this person other than them just filing for themselves. Okay. So if you are going to claim a dependent that also has a job, they need to file first and check the box saying that they are a dependent on somebody else's taxes. And then, parent, you can file and add them. If you file first, you don't get to check the box that says that they're going to also file for themselves. Then they will be locked out and they cannot file their own taxes. I see so many parents, and I'm sorry, it gets on my nerves. If your child worked and they paid money into to taxes, they're going to get every dollar of it back because they don't make that much. So if they pay 200 in taxes, 200 is going to be their refund. But some of y'all parents do not want to amend your taxes because you didn't know and you claimed that child, and now that child doesn't even get the money that they paid in. I don't know about you guys, but I'm not letting them have my money. So if I paid and I know I'm going to get 100% of what I put in back, I want it. So please let the child file themselves first, then the parent. Okay. And if y'all don't understand, you definitely can ask me and I will say it a million times until you get it. All right. Cynthia says, I found out that someone used my son's social security number to file their taxes. I was told to send in a paper tax return with the form 14039 for identity theft. That is exactly what you're supposed to do. Now, Miss Cynthia says somebody used her son's social to file taxes. This is why I like y'all to have an IRS account so that you can see if somebody else is using that social security number. This is why I also say if you are a person on social security disability, you need to file your taxes and print them out and send them in so that you can guarantee that nobody is using your social. Why? Because when the IRS receives your paperwork in the mail, they're going to go, okay, we're going to put this social in. The computer system will automatically let them know if somebody else has used that social. And believe you me, people use people's socials. If it ain't for a CPN, it's definitely at tax time to get some extra money, okay? Which is why if you go into somebody that you know is the person in town that hooks everybody up, you need to check your tax paperwork to make sure you ain't got somebody claimed on your taxes that you don't even know, because it absolutely does happen. Some of y'all got dependents y'all ain't never met, okay? And why? Because people can leave socials around anywhere. Social security numbers is everywhere, okay? So you need to have access so that you can check to make sure that nobody is using that social. And if you're on social security disability, you should be claimed as a dependent on somebody else's taxes, or you need to file your own and send a paper copy into the IRS to protect yourself, okay? If for nothing else, to protect yourself, okay? Miss Lisa, okay, you say your sister did last week. Okay, good. Capital One will work with you. Now, Capital One, I believe, would work with you. But now they've merged with Discover, which just recently happened, which means in 2025, we're going to see some differences. And I don't think that they will, because Discover does not like to work with you, okay? We will see going forward. I'm sure I'm going to hear from y'all who I work with, coaching with y'all credit. I'm sure I'll know more, but Discover does not like to work with you. They actually kind of throw you away, just like a few other places I can name, USAA. When you can't pay, they treat you like trash. Navy Federal, they don't treat you like that. That's why I love them, and I will tell everybody to go to them that can. But some of these companies, it's just like, well, hey, everybody falls on hard times. It ain't like I got this credit card to run it up and then not pay y'all. Sometimes stuff happens in life. Well, these credit card companies, they don't care. Why? Because they're a bank. Why would they care? Your bank don't care when you ain't got that money in your account. They're still gonna hit you with that non-sufficient fund fee. Okay. Tough Love, so hit that like button. I know I get to talking. Y'all make sure y'all hit that like button. I appreciate that. Share, tag, all that good stuff. I am going to get better at saying that. I just want to start get rolling. I get rolling. Okay. Melinda says, if they start a lawsuit before I file bankruptcy, can I still include it in the bankruptcy? Absolutely, you can. I would tell you that if you know that you're going to get sued, you can actually just wait until you get sued. Doesn't mean go to court. I mean, wait until you've been served. And the reason why is because you don't want to file bankruptcy and not put everybody in. And if they've already turned your debt over to someone and it's now on a lawyer's desk, you don't know who that lawyer is to add them into the bankruptcy. Okay. So say, for example, I owe Navy Federal and I don't pay them. Now I know they put a charge off on my credit report. And yes, I can put that in my bankruptcy. But if they sold that debt to Portfolio Recovery last week, I wouldn't know that until Portfolio Recovery puts it on my credit report. So if you know you're going to get sued, in my own opinion, because we want to make sure that we get all of our debt, we want to wait until you actually get served so that you can actually put that law firm's name on your paperwork. Okay. Who cares if it shows up in the court system? It doesn't matter. It's better that you know than not know, because you could put Navy Federal in there and Navy Federal go, well, we don't own that no more. So I don't even know why you put us in. You owe these people now. And if you don't put them in, you cannot get it dismissed. There are a lot of people who file bankruptcy, come to find out later, it's like, oh, damn, I could have added that. And it's like, yes, I want y'all to be thorough and think about it. So don't rush. If you're going to file, you're going to file. It's still going to happen. You don't need to rush. You want to make sure you get all of your debts so that you can discharge them in bankruptcy. Okay. Miss Cynthia said, I am only aware of all of these things and how to navigate by watching Shamika's lives and videos. Shamika, I appreciate you for empowering me. Oh, thank you. I appreciate that so much. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Let me tell you, they don't want to empower you, because if they empower you, unfortunately, then you will not follow the rules. And the rules are, unfortunately, what keeps a lot of us broke. Okay? Broke and uneducated, because we don't know. But if you tune into your girl, I'm going to tell you. I'm definitely going to tell you, because they got a report on everything. There's nothing you can do out there that they don't know about, which means it is reported somewhere. And unfortunately, the only things that you can report are credit, maybe some of your LexisNexis, and some of these other bureaus. But if you don't have the proof to say that it's not true, it's not going anywhere. Okay? It's just not. Unfortunately. All right. So, but at least for your credit, we can at least try to get that together. Okay. Listen, how do you know what to deduct when you do your taxes? If you have a business, you would deduct expenses for your business on the Schedule C. The Schedule C is just a form. Okay. If I was talking to more tax professionals, it would be easy for me to explain. It's a schedule, but I ain't going to get into it. It's just a form, but on that form, it shows you the categories of where you can make your deductions. Meals, mileage, not fuel. Please, people, stop trying to deduct your fuel. If you are a truck driver, you cannot deduct your fuel. I got a video that tells you the only people who can deduct fuel, and those are government employers or individuals who use gasoline to work with equipment, like people who are farmers or ranchers. They need gasoline to empower the equipment that they use, but they are not writing off the fuel you use when you drive. You can do mileage. You can do utilities. You could do salary. So if you're somebody, you have a business and your business made $100,000, and out of that $100,000, you paid your employees $30,000. There's no sense of you paying taxes on $100,000 because you didn't get to keep all of it. You paid $30,000 to somebody else, so you get to deduct any salaries that you paid to other people, and now they have to claim that income that you wrote off. They should. Most people don't. They should claim that income, and then they pay the taxes on the portion you paid them. All right. You can deduct supplies, rentals. If you have a storage unit, a lot of y'all have, when you have like Etsy and all of these accounts, you pay a monthly fee. Those fees, subscription fees, those things you can write off. If you got publications, you subscribe to a magazine, newspaper, if you're a notary and you keep your membership with NNA, National Notary Association, those things you can write off. Those will help lower what you owe to the government, well, to the IRS, if you have a business. Now, if you don't have a business, unfortunately, you could take it up with Trump. He removed that portion from the taxes where we used to be able to write off like personal expenses. The only people who get personal expenses are individuals who are teachers, nobody else. Okay, so teachers can write off that they paid for stuff for school, stuff like that, but just us Joe Blow regular person, you have no right to write anything off, which is why I tell y'all you need to have a business so that you at least have some write-offs for those of you that do not pay enough in taxes. Okay. Letitia says, I'm about to become a professional student and did not work much. What do I need to prepare for taxes for this year? If you are about to be a professional student, then that means you won't have a 1098-T, which is your tuition form. If you are someone who was in school and you use tuition assistance, please wait until you get your 1098-T, especially if this is your first or your second year in school, because if you went full time, a lot of y'all automatically get $1,000 back. Parents, especially for y'all who send y'all kids to school. Okay, so if you're a parent, let me get on that real quick, and Letitia, I'm gonna get back to you. If you are a parent and you have a child that is in school, you can choose who's gonna claim that 1098-T. You, the parent, can, or you can put it on your child's taxes if they had a job and worked. And the reason why I'm telling you guys to choose is because I've seen some parents find out that their child is getting $1,000 for being in school plus whatever else, and the parents like, hell no, I'm not letting them have that. So if you don't want your child to get that $1,000, then you, parent, need to make sure that you add the 1098-T, the 1098 tuition form, to your taxes, not theirs, so that you get the money. And I personally feel the parent should, because the child is being claimed as a dependent under the parent. The parent should be the one to get the bulk of the money. That's just my opinion, okay? And most time you give a child, $1,000 plus whatever their refund's going to be, they're going to be broke and they're going to be right back asking you, can they borrow? So I think the parent should do it because, you taking care of the child, all right? So, Letitia, if you did not work hardly and you were not in school, if you have children, you can file. We could talk. You can file if you have kids. Maybe you did some hair in the kitchen. Maybe you sold some plates out the kitchen. If you made at least $400, you can file self-employment and you can claim those kids and you can get you can get you some money. All right. If not, then you probably won't have any refund to claim because you didn't pay anything in. Okay. And that's one thing that's the hardest for some of y'all to realize. If you didn't pay anything in the taxes, why would y'all think that y'all gonna get a refund? I mean, we're not talking about anybody with kids, just people who no kids. If you didn't pay in, there is nothing for you to recoup. If you got kids and you didn't work, a lot of y'all are only getting money off of y'all kids. But the gag is y'all still gotta lie and say you earned a certain amount of money to activate the system to even give you a refund for your children, because there's a minimum threshold of income you have to meet in order to get paid earned income credit. So please don't think that just because you got 7 kids and you didn't work, you're gonna still get a refund. You can, if the person knows what they're doing. They don't have to play with some numbers in order to get you to your threshold minimum, so that you can activate the system to pay you earned income credit. Okay. Again, I ain't telling nobody to do anything wrong or right. I'm just letting you know how it's done. Okay. Did they block the BOI again? Yes, it is still blocked as of right now. Again, I wouldn't tell y'all not even worry about this until January. They keep pushing the date back. January 13th was the last date, and there has been no updates as of the 27th. Okay, so right now it's still on hold. Okay, it says, can my husband and I claim her on our taxes? I take care of my mom. She gets disability. Absolutely. Yes. If you take care of her, she live with you. Now, I'm going to just be honest. They don't know if she lives with you or not. Okay. When you put somebody on their taxes, they are hoping that you're telling the truth, but they don't know if she's living with you or not. I personally say you claim someone who's on disability, claim them. because somebody needs to protect that social security number. Now, if you claim somebody who gets disability, you're not gonna get that much. Probably get like $500. But make sure that they check the box that says they are disabled. Okay, because if you just put them on as a dependent, you might not get anything as a dependent. So they need to check the box saying they are disabled. All right, that's how the IRS knows the person's disabled. Okay, that is why you're claiming an elderly person or an older person who's not in college. So make sure they check that box. Okay, Lisa? Hey, Val. Let me see what else y'all saying because it is after 8. Let me see. All right, hold on. Let me just check. Y'all know I like to go through all of this and make sure I get everything. Okay, so she lived with you. Oh, so she lived with you. You good to go then. You are good to go. Ain't nothing you got to do but go out there and put that on there and make sure to check the box saying that she is disabled. Okay. Cindy says, family, don't be shy and suffer in silence. Book a consultation with Shamika. She gives way more value than what she charges. Now, that is very, very true. Okay. I ain't even going to lie. I would love to charge more, but at the end of the day, it's like, it's not even really about that. It's really about y'all being able to have some sense of freedom and a peace of mind of which y'all not going to get from the television because they're not going to talk about it. They're not going to tell you, and they don't want you to know. Again, because who wants to empower y'all to not follow the system when they want you to follow the system, okay? Hey, PC. All right, Letitia says that's a jewel in her, far from the fool, so no, she does it in your best interest, not hers. That's right, okay? I definitely do what's in y'all best interest. There ain't nothing for me to gain out of this other than just giving y'all good old information. Hey, Miss Aura. Black and East says, so they give you a new one every year. Yes, it used to be you can use your IP pen for 2 years in a row with the same number, but the IRS changed that, and now it's a new one every single year. So you're just going to have to wait until you get that new IP pen before you can file taxes, okay? It's unfortunate that they make people wait, but they're doing it because they're actually trying to stagger how people are filing their taxes because everybody likes to file in the beginning because they are inundated with so many tax refunds that's where fraudsters make the most of their money is in the beginning of tax season because they submit a lot of them to basically jam up the system with everybody else filing. The IRS ain't paying attention. They just cutting checks. But that is going to change. So that's why they're staggering when they give you things, okay? Same with getting your W-2s. They open up tax season before y'all even get your W-2s. Why do they do that? Because they're trying to stagger on purpose, okay? Hey, Nicola. So yes, Black and Ease, I know that is not good news, but it's the truth. And at least now you know. Just sit, don't even rush to your tax preparer. Just say, child, I'm gonna see you in the form when the number come in. Now you could do your taxes, but they can't submit. And that's the part that's gonna hurt because now you can't get a refund until they're able to submit. Princess Tiana says, can I claim my 2 college kids that I help and they file too? They work part-time. Absolutely, you better. If you didn't catch what I said, make sure your kids file first and check the box saying that they are a dependent on your taxes, that they will be claimed as a dependent on someone else's taxes. Then you file, okay? Make sure that they file first, submit e-filing to the IRS, and then you file. That way, the IRS does not block that social security number from being submitted. Because if you file first, they will not be able to submit their own taxes because the social will now be locked because the IRS didn't know to expect somebody else to use it again. Okay, so I hope that answered your question. All right. Let's see. Miss Shamika, my student loan got forgiven on Christmas Day for $55,000 gone. I know that's right. Congratulations. And Miss Aura, since you live in Florida, you do not have to worry about receiving anything in the mail saying that you have to claim it. So if any of y'all get y'all loans forgiven, this is why I want y'all to have your IRS.gov account so that you can check to make sure that there is not a 1099 in there with your name on it with your tax information forgiven, okay? A lot of times it depends on how it's forgiven. But if you were forgiven because the school shut down or something like that because of that lawsuit, you will not have to claim that on your taxes at all. You just got your taxes forgiven. And I guess the government is like, well, we ain't gonna give you no money back. We just letting you write it off. That's good enough, okay? So congratulations, but you won't have to claim that on your taxes. At work, that says, hey, Shamika, what about those people that do DoorDash and Grubhub? If you do DoorDash and Grubhub, you are considered self-employed. You are an independent contractor. You more than likely did not pay any taxes out of your check. You will be able to claim write-offs if you did that. If you're a stripper, If you sell insurance, any job that you basically work as an independent contractor, y'all more than likely did not take any taxes out. You guys are the ones that owe the most. So what you need to do is make sure you look at that Schedule C with your tax preparer so that you can put some numbers in the boxes. Okay, how much you spend on meals, how many miles. Now, places like Grubhub and all those places, they already usually have your mileage calculated. Um, so you probably won't have to do that. But they usually do not take out anything else. They leave that up to you to be able to state what you paid for. Now, please don't put, now I'm gonna just tell you, because the IRS is not stupid. You cannot say that you earned $1,200 in Grubhub, but you spent $700 in meals. They know that's not true. Nobody's going to spend $700 of the $1,500 that they made eating. So if you're going to play with your numbers, because people do, please be smart about it and ask yourself, would you believe this? Okay, if you got a job, you're self-employed and you made no money, but you put that you drove 10,000 miles. Come on, who is going to drive 10,000 miles and never get paid? The IRS knows that. This is why some of y'all Schedule C's are getting kicked back, because you don't even make it believable. So if you don't want your tax preparer lying badly, because most of y'all tax preparers only going to say whatever they need to say because they want to make sure they get paid. You need to look at that form yourself to make sure it makes sense. Because if it comes back that you owe, the tax preparer don't have to pay the money. You do. And they're going to tack on penalties, late fines, late fees, and interest. Okay, so if you're willing to take on all of that, go right ahead. And the reason why some of y'all so comfortable is because the IRS never came for you yet, but they do. They come for everybody at some point, even if it's small, little. If they just checking, they come. Okay. It says, Lord, I need my $53K for my master's forgiven. Can't find a way. Well, if you're not on that borrower's defense list, your school is going to be difficult. Unless you do public servants loan forgiveness. And that's really it, unless you're going to do some tuition assistance program. But other than that, they are wiping away ways to get out of paying your student loan. Now, y'all know Biden had everybody all excited about that. But now there is not going to be any other option other than the two that I mentioned. Public service loan forgiveness for people who work in public service, or the borrower's defense, which is the schools are already on the list. These schools have already been sued. You just have to see if your school is on there and fill out that application or wait. Okay. Okay. So work desk. I hope I answered your question. The teacher says, make sure you like and share. Thank you, Queen. I appreciate that. Nicola says, what if you're self-employed? Can you file the deductions on your taxes? You can file deductions for self-employed. Yes. Which are the ones I mentioned: utilities, food, mileage, rentals, supplies. You can do those types of things. Yes. But don't get crazy with it. Some people, I say, hey, we can write some expenses, but at the end of the day, you're still going to have to owe. I'd rather you owe something than to sit around here and lie and try to get a refund and think that the IRS is not going to say anything. Now, we can lower how much you owe, but if you are too far in the negative, you're just going to stay in the negative with me. I'm not risking it for anybody, because if you risk it, especially if you're a tax preparer, you lose the opportunity. You could lose the opportunity to ever file taxes again. And now you done cut your nose to spite your face, and now you can't make no money. And nobody wants to be stopped where they can't make any money. So I would not suggest y'all just rush out there and do that. Okay. The IP pin is an identity pin. It is the pin that the IRS is, it gives people who've been a victim of identity theft, and or you can volunteer to sign up for it yourself to get an IP pin. But if you get an IP pin, you will not get your IP pin until February. All right. Miss Ora says, my son is a student and he does DoorDash. Does he have to file taxes, or will he get a form from DoorDash? Yes, if he does DoorDash or any of those food, those type of companies, delivery companies, you will get a 1099. Absolutely, lottie-dottie, because they are not going to pay taxes on money that they paid him. So they're definitely going to make sure they send him a form so he can claim the money that they paid, because they don't want to have to pay it. So yes, Miss Ora, and if he is also a student, he will get a 1098T. So your son should be getting his 1099 from his 1099 NEC, which is the non-employee compensation. He'll get a 1099 NEC from DoorDash, and he will get a 1098T from the school. And for those of you who have students that are in school, they do not always mail y'all a 1098T. You will need to make sure your child has access to their student email, because that's where they usually send it, which is so dumb, but that's where they send it, okay? Because some of y'all file taxes and get that form later, and then it's like, oh, now I need to do an amendment, but you don't get your tax refund for 5 months because you made a mistake. So slow down, make sure you got all your forms, and then do it. Again, you can go to irs.gov, log into your account, and you'll be able to see all of that without having to wait on the form, okay? Let me see, and then I'm gonna be done, I promise. It says, I appreciate that. I now work for the state university I got my degrees from. Going to look into that. Yes, ma'am. If you work for the state university, ma'am, you can look at the public service loan forgiveness, because that is the government. That is the government. Well, no, it's not the government, but a university is not a nonprofit. I got to think about that. If you work for the school board, you don't have to pay. You can do the public service loan forgiveness. I don't know about if you work at a college, because college is, unless it's a state college. State college is different, but if it's a private institution, you might have a difficult time. You can send me a message too. I am favorite, and just go on the link in TikTok, and I'll send you that list. You can see if your school is on there, but you need to see if your school is state owned or not, because that makes the difference. Okay. Okay, good. I'm glad I answered your question at work desk. All right, I got one last one, and I'm gonna let you go. Can't you file bankruptcy for student loans? Yes, you can, Kyb. You can file a bankruptcy for student loans, but you have to show that you've tried to make payments, and that making payments cause hardship, or if you were to continue to make payments, it's going to cause a hardship. They got like 3 requirements that you have to meet in order to be able to discharge them in bankruptcy. But yes, you can. But please don't think that you can have a job making $50,000 a year and you only got $30,000 in student loans and think they're going to dismiss them in bankruptcy, because that's not how it works. You're going to have to be the other way. $50,000 at your job and maybe $150,000 or $200,000 in loans, then you got something for the court to consider. But if it's low, if your student loans are lower than your income, don't even worry about it, because they are going to say no. But yes, you can throw them into bankruptcy and try to get them dismissed, but you have to show a need, okay? And I know I say this all the time, and I said somebody emailed me last week, and it's like, if y'all are on Social Security disability, if you are unable to work because you're sick, you're hurting, you can get those loans dismissed through a doctor's note, okay? And if you're on Social Security disability, all you have to do is show you, just do the form. Now, it should automatically be done for you, but sometimes the computer misses you. But you can get a form, the TPD discharge form, and just dismiss those loans that way. I'd hate to see my people who are on Social Security disability carry around these student loans when you know you ain't never going to have a job again. Maybe you will, God willing, but right now you don't. And all you have to do is dismiss those loans and stay disabled for 3 years, and then you can go back to school, and they can't do nothing. I didn't say it. That's what their rules say. Okay. Can you claim home office utilities working from home for a company? You can claim, you can do a home office deduction, but this is the part. If the income doesn't meet the threshold, it won't make a difference when you claim these things. Now, if you work from home, and this is the sucky part about working from home, guys, even though you're using all those utilities, you cannot write that off. You can do a home office deduction that, hey, I use this certain portion of my house for a home office, but there is no place to take off deductions for your home use when you work from home. You can only do it if it's a business, which again, why do I tell y'all to have a business? Even if y'all not making any money off of it? Because of these situations. Because of some of y'all who work from home, and it's a doggone shame. Y'all got to use your light bill going up doubly high, all of this stuff, and you can't even get any money from your employer and or any write-offs because now you're paying more money, okay? But if you got a business, that's your trick. That's how you change the system. And the only way y'all can do that for next year is y'all gonna have to sign up for a business today or tomorrow before the 1st of January, because remember, whatever happens at the end of the year, December 31st, is what you're going to put on your taxes for next year. You cannot create a business in January and then try to write it off. Because I know a lot of y'all try that too. And that's not going to work because your business was created in January. So if the IRS wanted to be nosy and look, they're going to say, no, ma'am. But you got tonight and you got tomorrow to create something. Even if it's just a fictitious name, go and take you less than $100 and get you a business so that y'all can have write-offs, because I know a lot of y'all did not pay enough taxes in. Okay? All right. So I think that should be it. Okay, good. I'm in favor. Let me know. All right. So yes, Nicola, you need a business. Nicola, you got one. I think you have enough that you can do a real estate thing because you got stuff going on. You know, I know. So yes, you can do that. And if you need help, you can go right to Sunbiz. You in Florida. I'm in favor says I kept my business 2009, though I haven't made money since 2022. I do make a couple hundred though. Boom. That's enough. That's enough to write off. Having a business is enough to write off. Hell, you had to write off to keep paying to keep your business active. That's a write off in itself. Boom. Okay. And did not need these lights to see. Thank you, Lord, for the lights, and thank you for IRS for the deduction. Okay, so y'all got tonight and tomorrow to make these changes before the new year comes in. All right. So I done went way over my time. I apologize, but I hope y'all learned something. I appreciate y'all always being here. Remember, no BOI. You do not have to worry about that until next year. We will see what's going to happen with that later. Also, please don't believe that video of that girl telling y'all how to remove that stuff from your credit, because it is not true. Anybody that wants the FCRA, the Fair Credit Reporting Act book, I'll send you the link. I'll send you a link where you can order the publication to get the hard copy book. I like having a hard copy book. I keep one everywhere I go. Got one right over there. I'll never leave home without it, because you got to know. And if you're interested in cleaning your credit with the sweep, you need section 605B. Y'all should not be watching my show if you ain't got nothing to write with, okay? Because I'm going to call out stuff. 605B of the Fair Credit Reporting Act will tell you what the law says, what has to happen when you submit an identity theft report for your information, okay? And for anybody with taxes, yes, you can claim those dependents. If somebody that's on Social Security, they need to file themselves on a paper copy, and or somebody need to claim you so that your Social Security number will be protected. IP pins will not come out until in January, February. If you want to file with your last pay stub, you can turn that pay stub in when you get it in January, and you can also get your pre-act cash advance loans, because the IRS will not be open yet to take your taxes, but the bank will hold your tax refund and pay you a cash advance if your credit is good enough to get it. Yes, you can claim dependents. If your kids are in school, they're getting a 1098 T as in Tom. If they worked, you need to let them file their taxes first, and then you claim them as a dependent on your taxes after they e-file their own, so that there is no mix-up and the IRS knows to expect to see that person's social 2 times. Okay, so I think I went over everything. All right. Nicola says I have insurance and notary and a caregiver. Well, all you need is pick one, honey. Now you can have several Schedule C's. I don't recommend it. But if you're a notary, yes, you can. That's one. If you are you sell insurance, yes, you can do another. If you're a caregiver and you're making money, you can do it. You can have as many Schedule C's as you want. You just have to make it make sense so that IRS is not all in your business. Write Her Biz said they're trying to get 60 days to process my complaint. Just started the sweep method. The sweep method is not a method that I encourage anybody to do. But you see what they said? They're giving her 60, or him, whoever, 60 days to respond. And what did the FCRA say? 4 days. I told you they do not abide by their own rules that they write. But they're doing it because they are investigating the complaint. Ride Her Biz, I don't know if you saw my whole live. You can go back on my YouTube, but I put some information about what happens in the credit sweep process and telling you what to do. Please don't get yourself caught up in nothing, and don't call it the credit sweep. I'm saying that for y'all, but don't call it the credit sweep, because that automatically means fraudulent, because it is. Okay, so anything y'all need from me, please, you can go to my website, shamikasaves.com. If y'all want to do taxes, if you want to have your own tax business, or you just want to get your taxes done, you can still come to me. You want a cash advance? I do those too. I don't have to meet you, not one bit. I got a system where you can upload and drop your stuff in there. And it will be text to you, it'll be message to me, and we can talk through text, chat, however you want to do it. We can still get your taxes done and get it done by somebody who knows what they're doing and don't mind answering your questions, because the only way you're gonna know is for somebody to educate you, and that's what I do. So anyway, I'm gonna let y'all go. Happy New Year. God bless every single one of you that are watching, your family, your friends, your loved ones, and even your enemies. Okay, 2025 is going to be a fast moving year. It's going to be a lot of changes, but I'm going to be on it. And I want y'all to be here with me every Monday so we can find out what's going on and what's changing. And also, no more suffering in silence. If you are in debt, please file you some bankruptcy, or at least consider it, to get yourself free so that you can move on with your life just like everybody else, because they faking and flogging too. But we are going to live our real truth and be happy for real, because we ain't got no debt. Okay? So, shamikasaves.com if y'all need anything. Send me a message and I will talk to you guys soon. Be blessed, everybody. Okay? Be blessed. Y'all have a good one. Bye. Bye, Miss Bernice. Thank you. And thank you, SL5555. See y'all. Bye. And if y'all need anything, all of y'all on here know my number. So send me a message if you need anything. Y'all be blessed, and I'll talk to you guys in the new year. Bye.